Good day viewers, my name is Ahmed Joshua Jonugwa. I am live from the IDC Learning Center. Today we are going to be treating a series of questions for those of you planning to write your junior WAEC. Please stay with me. Number one, it says simplify 3 minus, in brackets, minus 8 and minus 5. In order to solve this equation, we must first open the brackets. When we open the brackets, we will then have the correct format for us to solve this equation. We have 3 and then we have minus outside the bracket. For us to open this bracket, we multiply minus here with minus inside the bracket, with whatever is inside the bracket. Minus times minus gives us what? Plus. This becomes 3 plus, and then we have what? 8. 8, and then we have minus 5. 3 plus 8, of course we know 3 plus 8 is 11, and then 11 minus 5 gives us what? Gives us 6. So 6 is our final answer. Let's move over to number 2. Number 2 says evaluate 9 minus 10 minus, in brackets, minus 7. Of course we know we have to what? Open the brackets. That's the first thing. We have 9 minus 10, and then we have minus here and minus inside the bracket. Minus times minus gives us what? Plus. And then we write plus, and then we have 7. 9 minus 10, of course we know it's what? Minus 1, and then minus 1 plus 7. Negative 1 and a positive 7 coming together will give us what? A positive 6. So we have 6 also as our final answer. Let's move over to number 3. Number 3 says simplify 2 whole number 1 over 5 divides 1 over 5. In order to solve these fractions, the first thing we need to do, we need to what? Convert from mixed fraction to what? To improper fraction. And by converting from mixed fraction to improper fraction, we have 5 times 2, 10, plus 1, 11. 11 over 5. 11 over 5 divided by what we have here, 1 over 5. And now here comes the what? The principle of inversion. The principle of inversion, we have to what? This comes here and this comes here when we're dealing with division. 11 over 5 divided by 1 over 5 becomes 11 over 5 times what? 5 over what? 1. And of course we know 5 cancels 5. We're left with what? 11 as our final answer. Okay, let's move over to this side of the board. Number 4. Number 4 says solve for x. 8x plus 2 is equals to x minus 3. 8x plus 2 is equals to x minus 3. What do we do here? The first step in solving this equation, we'll first we'll collect like terms. Once we collect like terms, this is how it's going to be. X moves over to this side. It becomes 8x minus what? X is equals to what? Minus 3. Then 2 goes over to this side. Plus 2 goes over to this side. It changes to what? Minus. Minus 3 what? Minus 2. 8x minus x. The same thing as saying 8x minus 1x. Of course we know that 8x minus x gives us what? 7x. 7x is equals to what? Minus 3 minus 2 gives us what? Minus 5. Minus 5. And here what are we going to do? We divide both sides by what? The coefficient of x, which is 7. Divide both sides by 7. 7 cancels 7 here. And our answer is what? X is equals to what? Minus 5. Minus 5 over what? 7. That's our final answer for number 4. Okay, let's move over to number 5. It says solve 1 over 4p is equals to what? 7. Of course, we know this p here. We have to what? Multiply this one here for us to get a proper fraction here. 1 times p, of course, we know is p over 4 equals to 7. This is what this means. And once we are at this side, we simply cross multiply. P comes here, and then 7 times 4. 7 times 4 gives us what? 28, right? So P is equals to what? 28. That's our final answer. Okay, let's move over to number 6. Number 6 says solve the equation 2n plus 2 over 8 is equals to 2. Of course, using the same thing we did here, we cross multiply. That's the first step. When we cross multiply, this becomes what? 2n plus 2. 2n plus 2 is equals to what? 2 times 8, and 2 times 8 is what? 16. This becomes 16. 2n plus 2 is equals to 16. What do we do once we have arrived at this situation? We also collect like terms. 2n is now alone, and it's equals to what? Positive 2 crossing over to the other side, it changes to what? Minus. It becomes 16 minus 2. And 16 minus 2, we know is what? It's 14. And again, we divide both sides by the coefficients of the unknown. The unknown here is n. If we divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, which is 2, 2 cancels 2, and n, our n is what? 14 divided by 2, which is 7. The unknown is 7. Okay, before we continue with number 7, please ensure you click the notification and the subscription icon below. Okay, number 7 says simplify 4 minus the brackets 1 over 2 raised to power 0. Of course, we know this is what is a question in indices, and anything in indices, any number raised to power 0, we know that number is what? Is 1. The result is 1. So if we have 1 over 2 raised to power 0, of course we know that becomes what? 1. So this is simply 4 minus 1 over 2 raised to power 0, which is 1. 4 minus 1 gives us what? 3. 4 minus 1 gives us 3. 3 is our final answer. It's as simple as that. Number 8. Number 8 says convert 100101 in base 2 to base 10. And when we are converting from base 2 to base 10, the first thing we do, we start with the first digit and then we multiply it with 2 raised to power the remaining digits. The remaining digits after 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 times 2 raised to power 5. And then we say plus the next digit, which is 0. 0 times what? 2. The remaining digit is what? 1, 2, 3, 4 raised to power 4. And then we say plus the next digit, 0. 0 times what? 2. 2 raised to power of what? 1, 2, 3. The next digit is what? 1. 1 times 2. 2 raised to power what? 1, 2. Plus the next digit, which is what? 0. 0 times what? 2. Raised to power of what? Just 1. The next digit is what? 1. 1 times what? 2 raised to power of what? 0. Since we have arrived at this situation, what are we to do? 2 raised to power 5. 2 raised to power 5 is what? 2 times 2 you multiply 2 in 5 places. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2, 16. And 16 times 2 is what? 32. So this becomes what? 32, right? 32 plus 0 times 2 is power 4. Of course, we know anything multiplying 0 becomes what? 0. Plus 0 times 2 is power 3. This is also 0. Plus 1 times 2 is power 2. 2 is power 2 is what? 2 is power 2 is 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus this is 0. Plus 1 times 2 is power 0. 2 is power 0 is 1. So 1 times 1 is also 1. Adding all this together, 32 plus 4 gives us what? 36, right? 36 plus 1 gives us what? 37. So our final answer is what? 37 in base what? base 10. This is our final answer. 37 in base 10. Okay, let's move over to the next question. It says simplify 13p minus in brackets 6p minus 3q. 6p minus 3q. Of course, the first step in solving this equation is what? We are going to open the bracket. By opening the bracket, this becomes 13p minus times 6p. Of course, we know is what? Minus 6p. And then what? Minus times minus 3q. Minus times minus is plus. So this becomes what? Plus and then 3q. So I've succeeded in opening the bracket. And this is what we have. 13p minus 6p plus 3q. Simplifying this becomes what? 13p minus 6p. It will give you 7p, right? 7p plus 3q. So this is our final answer. This is our final answer. Let's move over to the next question. Number 10. Number 10 says what? Factorize 6ab plus 9ac. In factorization, of course, we know the first step in solving this, in factorizing this question, we need to what? Look for the common terms. The common terms between 6 and 9, which are the numbers, and the common terms between these two sets of letters, A, B, and AC. So what is common between 6 and 9? The common factor is what? Is 3. Note that, 3. And then what? The letters, what is common between these two sets of letters? A, B, and AC. A is common. So we have what? 3A as the what? Common factor between this expression. So we have 6AB plus 9AC, and 3A is the common factor. So we bring out 3A and we open a bracket. So we can use and divide. 3A goes into 6AB. How many times? 3 goes into 6 2 times, right? 2 times. Put that 2 down. And then A goes in AB. A cancels A, and then you are left with what? B. So this becomes what? 2B. So when you multiply this, 3A multiplies 2B, you get what? 6AB. The next thing here is plus. We put down our plus. 3A goes into 9AC. 3 goes into 9 3 times, right? 3 times, and then A goes into AC. A cancels A, you are left with C. So this goes 3 times, and then you are left with C. So when you multiply 3A times 3C, it's going to give you 9AC, which we have here. So this is our final answer. We have successfully factorized this equation. Let's move over to number 11. Number 11 says factorize 18ax plus 12ay. How we're going to solve this? We use the format we applied here earlier on. We look for the common factors. The common factors between 18 and 12 is what? The common factor between 18 and 12. If you find out the common factor, it's going to give you 6. 6 is the common factor because 6 times 3 gives you 18 and 6 times 2 gives you what? 12. So 6 is a common factor between 18 and 12. And then the common factors between the two sets of letters. Of course, we have AX here and we have AY here. A is common between AX and AY. So our common factor here is what? Is 6A, which we are going to use to solve this. 6A, we bring 6A out, we open a bracket. 6A goes into 18AX. Let's start with the number first. 6 goes into 18. It goes how many times? 3 times, because 6 times 3 will give you 18. 3 times. And then the letter A goes into AX. A cancels A. You are left with what? X. 3X plus, move over to the next set of expression. 6A goes into 12AY. 6 goes into 12 2 times, right? Bring down 2. And then A goes into AY. A cancels A, you are left with what? Y. So we have successfully what? Factorized this expression also. Okay, let's move over to the next question, number 12. Number 12 says a boy cycles at a distance of 12 kilometers in 5 hours. A boy cycles a distance of 12 kilometers in 5 hours. Now the question says calculate his speed per hour. Calculate his speed per hour. For those of you that remember speed, the topic speed, we know that the formula for calculating speed is distance times time. Formula for calculating speed is distance okay. The distance here given to us, is what? 12 kilometers, right? And the time given to us is 5 hours. We have 12 kilometers as our distance and our time is 5 hours. So when you multiply 12 times 5, 12 times 5 is going to give you 12 times 5 is going to give you 60. 12 times 5 is going to give you 60. So our answer is what? 60, and kilometer multiplying hours, you have what? Kilometer per hour. So our final answer is 60 kilometers per hour. 60 kilometers per hour. That is our final answer. 60 kilometers per hour. Number 13. Number 13 says solve the inequality 2x minus 3 is less than 5. This may seem a little bit confusing, but it's so direct. In order to solve this, we simply have to what? Collect like terms. We have 5 on this other side and we have minus 3 on this other side, which are common. Of course, we have to what? To make 3 go over to the other side. And this becomes what? 2x less than, if minus 3 comes over to this side, it changes to plus. It becomes 5 plus 3. 5 plus 3. 2x is less than what? 5 plus 3 is 8. At this side, we have to what? Divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. Dividing both sides, we have what? X is what? Less than what? 8 divided by 2, which is what? 4. X is less than 4. To the next question, says solve, somehow similar to number 13. Solve k is greater than or equals to minus 3k plus 8. Solve k greater than or equals to minus 3k plus 8. You have to solve this, you still apply the same method you applied in number 13. You collect like terms. If you collect like terms, this becomes what? K minus 3 crosses over to this side to become what? Plus 3k. Greater than or equals to what? You're just left with 8 here, plus 8, which is 8. Right? K plus 3k gives us what? 4k. 4k is greater than or equals to what? 8. And then you divide both sides by what? The coefficient of k, which is 4. Dividing both sides, 4 cancels 4. K becomes what? 8 divided by 4, which is 2. K is now greater than or equals to what? 2, which is our final answer. Let's move over to the next question, number 15. It says, in a class of 30 students, 16 are boys. What is the probability that a girl is chosen at random as a prefect of the class? From the information given to us here, we know that there are what? 16 boys in the class out of what? 30 students. There are 16 boys in the class out of 30 students. So before we find the probability that a girl is chosen at random, we first what? Note the what? The probability of a boy to be chosen what? At random. And the probability is what? The formula for finding probability is what? Number of required outcome over what? Total possible outcome. Number of required outcome applying to boys now is what? Number of required outcome over what? Total possible outcomes. Total possible outcomes. For a boy now, because it's only on boys that information is provided to us. Number of required outcome for boys now is 16, because there are 16 boys. Over the total possible outcomes is what? Is 30, because there are 30 students. So 16 over 30 is what? Is the probability that a boy is choosing at random. Okay. The probability now for a girl to be choosing at random, the formula is what? Will be 1 minus the probability of what? Of a boy to be chosen at random. So 1 minus the probability here, it gave us 16 over 30. So what this is simply trying to say is 1 minus what? 16 over 30. This is 1 over 1. And this 16 minus 16 over 30 fraction. We look for the what? We look for the what? The LCM. The LCM here is what? 30. 30. 30. 30 in 1 goes how many times? 30 times, right? 30 times 1 is 30. Minus 30 in 30 is 1. 1 times 16 is 16. And you have what? 30 minus 16 is what? 30 minus 16 is what? 14. 14 over what? 30. 14 over 30. So the probability that a girl is choosing at random as a prefect of the class is what? 14 over 30. And if you reduce this, this is 7. If you reduce this, 15. 7 over 15. Let's move over to the next question. Number 16. Find the median of the following set of numbers. Find the median of the following set of numbers. Over to number 17. Number 17 says the length of one of the sides of a square is 9 centimeters. What is the area of the square? The length of one of the sides of a square is 9 centimeters. What is the area of a square? Of course, we know the formula for finding area of a square is what? Length times length, which is what? L squared. So applying this now, since we have gotten one of the sides of the square, which is what? 9 centimeters, we multiply it by itself. This becomes what? 9 centimeters times what? 9 centimeters. This gives us what? 81 centimeters square as what? As the area of the square. 81 centimeters square. Viewers, we're almost done with the class for today. Please ensure, if you haven't subscribed to our platform, make sure you do so now below. 18 says find the area of a cycle with radius 7 centimeters. Of course, we know this is a very direct and simple question. Find the area of a cycle. With this, what are we going to do first? We are going to what? Apply our formula for what? Area of a cycle. And the formula for the area of a cycle is what? To find the area of a cycle is pi r squared. Pi r squared. And they have given us what? Our radius, which is 7 centimeters. Applying this, pi is what? 22 over 7, right? 22 over 7, so let's pi. Times what? Our radius. Our radius is what? 7 centimeters times 7, but it's in what? It's in square. So we'll say what? 7 times what? 7. 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. This is 22 over 7 times 49. Of course, we know 7 can go into 49 7 times. So 7 goes here once, and 7 goes here 7 times. So we have 22 times 7. We have 22 times 7. 22 times 7 is on the board. 4. 7 times 2, 14 also. Here becomes 1. 7 times 2, 14 plus 1, 15. 154. 154. So our final answer is what? 154 centimeter square. Okay, the next question. Simplify x squared divided by x cubed. X raised to power 2 divided by what? X raised to power 3. Of course, we know this also what? This also indices. And the rule of indices, when two base numbers which are the same are dividing themselves, we what? We minus their what? Their power. When you are dividing two base numbers that are the same, we what? We minus their power. But when we are what? Multiplying two base numbers that are the same, we what? We add their power. So here we are dividing them, so we what? We subtract their power. By doing that, we pick just one of the base numbers, which is x, and then we what? We minus their power. This becomes what? 2 minus what? 3. 2 minus 3. What do we have? X raised to power what? Minus 1. Because 2 is lower than 3. So when it's minusing 3, you have a what? A negative 1. So x raised to power what? Minus 1. And x raised to power minus 1 is what? 1 all over x. But let's just leave it here. X raised to power minus 1. Let's move over to number 20, which is the final question for today's class. Number 20 says solve 2 raised to power x is equals to what? 32. 2 raised to power x is equals to 32. In order to solve this, we need to what? Make these two base numbers to be the same. And how do we do that? We find what? We find how many times can 2 multiply itself to give us 32. We put 32 here, and then we'll put 2 here. 2 into 32 goes how many times? 16 times. 2 into 16 goes how many times? 8 times. 2 into 8 goes 4 times. 24 goes 2 times, and 2 into 2 goes once. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 raised to power 5 will give us what? 32. So this becomes what? 2 raised to power x on this side is equals to what? 2 raised to power what? 5. And now that the base numbers are the same, we what? They cancel out each other. 2 cancels 2 here, and what are you left with? X is equals to 5, which is your final answer. X is equals to 5. Thank you for staying with me. My name remains Ahmed Joshua. Please ensure to subscribe to our platform to get more updates on educative videos on your WAEC, your senior WAEC, your junior WAEC, and for those of you writing your common entrance, we'll also be releasing series of videos to help you with that. Thank you for